So, make sure this thing's on. Yeah. So I didn't have much to do tonight. I went out and played with it a little bit, spun it, whatever, and my arm is just it's wore out from doing it so much, so it needs a break. Just getting tight for an old man. I'm not real good left-handed. I try, but it's not great. But so I thought I'd come in here, and I wanted to mess with this anyway and kind of do a little update with it. Might as well do it on camera just to see how it's held up since I took it as my beater saber to kind of flip and throw around. This is the LGT from AliExpress I got when I thought it was a 9-font smooth swing for my daughter. And it wasn't, so I took care of that later. I took care of that and got hers, hopefully coming. Hopefully be here by Christmas. But as such, I took this one as my beater because I didn't like the way it sounded because it wasn't the smooth swing. And when you compare it to the smooth swing, it sounds broken to me and just not the same. The hum is great. The hum's really clear. The blaster blocks are really clear. But it just sounds cuts out really bad. So I thought I'd come in here and just kind of tear into it and see if there's any obvious damage to it because I've had trouble with it. Pretty sure I've blown the speaker on it. I've dropped it quite a few times on concrete when I probably shouldn't be in the shop with it, but it's been raining a few times and it's a little warmer in the shop, so here I am sometimes. But if you drop it out in the yard too, you get a lot of dirt in the speaker, which is definitely not good for it, which I've had to take it off and clean it. But the shop's concrete, so that's pretty rough on it, I'm sure. But it has yet failed to ignite. It has yet to fail to ignite. It ignites every time I try it. It does shut off when it's dropped heavily on concrete, sometimes completely, but it always fires right back up at the opening sequence. I did have trouble, the unstable and pulse cut out for a while. I dropped it and all of a sudden it just quit working. It was just only on stable. I mean, it worked, so it was on stable, but it wouldn't change. It'd say it would change, but it wouldn't change. And then I dropped it better apparently, and it came back, and everything seems to be working now, except for, as you'll see here in a second, the speaker's blown. But I thought I'd come out here tonight and just do this and chat and talk Star Wars and give a 46, almost 47-year-old man's grappy opinion on everything new and interesting in Star Wars, or especially the Mandalorian, which is really good right now. Mostly. I can gripe about anything. I'm 40-something. So I'm going to just open it up, crack into it, like I said, and just look at it. But it still works, like you can see. That speaker, though, has seen better days, I think. Unless there's something really obviously wrong in there. I'm not electronically literate. I do very basic wiring. I've never soldered anything worthwhile a day in my life, but I've got the stuff and I always plan to learn to do it, and this is going to be when I get my chance to see if I can do it or just start buying parts for it. I'm going to take it apart and look at it. I'm not going to break into all that stuff because I don't have anything to replace it with, and I don't want to lose my light effect to play with. So until I figure out what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do any major surgery on it, but we'll look at it and see what's going on. But I got it set on pink right now. I usually got it set on pink because I can. It's cool. Because I usually got it set on green for some reason. I just like it green. I don't know why. Green for this one and red for the Therax, the Dark Wolf. I could not tell you why, but those are the colors that kind of just fall right on those two sabers. It's weird. Got the character almost. As dumb as that sounds. But once again, I just can't get over how much fun these are and how I shouldn't have waited so long, I guess. But I'm thinking maybe I should go back and get my master's and start lightsaber therapy. Because it has changed my mood for sure. Oh, man. Anyway, so shut this thing off. It's raucous. Alright, and I got the gloves on because it is cold out here in my heater. Sucks for now. Let's see. Tape some places. Oh, there we go. And I just use electrical tape on these things with Wilson tennis wrap. It doesn't look period correct or movie correct or accurate or anything, but that's not what I'm going for at all. Like you can't really tell what the hilt looks like in the dark anyway. That's why I don't care. I plan to get a replica at some point. That's on my list. It's first one being, let's just take this off first. Luke's hilt from Return of the Jedi. That's the one I fell in love with as a kid. I was always, the green just, I don't know, really looked good on camera. Especially when you heard why they used that from what I've read, is because it looked better in the backdrop against the desert, I think, than the blue. It showed up better. There was no magic reason for it. It just looked better on film, but I thought it was amazing. And I thought the personalization of it from Luke was amazing, just to have it green. And I'm talking about Star Wars. Most of my Star Wars is, of course, being an old fart, is the original movie trilogy. New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Beta 47. I remember going to the theater to see Jedi. Let's see, turn this off first. I remember sitting in there with a pocket full of Star Wars, man. I've said that before, I think. About to hyperventilate. I thought Mother was going to drag me out of the theater. There's that thing if you hadn't seen it. Get this off first. So I had to calm down. And when he ignited that thing on the sail barge for the first time, man, that was amazing. And then Boba Fett, but then he got sucked into the much better and more mysterious Sarlacc pit before it became the creature from Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, that was my Star Wars. So, definitely hate all the. Just take this thing completely apart. Why not? Don't lose the shims, which I just did. There's two shims that goes on. Yeah, I mean, I'm just the original guy, the original Star Wars kind of guy. I like the Mandalorian. I don't like the new stuff except for the fact that it really looks cool and it's got lightsabers in it. Don't ask me about the story. There's no reason to get into that. I understand it's a different generation that likes that, and you wouldn't expect a grumpy old middle-aged bear like a turd like me to like anything new, basically. So that's the, let's put these off before losing. That's the emitter, right? The switch and the board, the soundboard, the battery, obviously, and the speaker. And I don't see anything obviously wrong with it. So I'm not going to mess with it. Yeah, too much. Yeah, I don't want to tear into the chest. I don't want to even take the switch off, to be honest with you. Just don't feel like doing it tonight. It's cold. My hands will get cold really quick. It's way past bedtime. But tomorrow is Friday. It's the last day before Christmas break for us folks in education, so I got a nice 2-week break to work on some curriculum and stuff. That'll be fun. And to chill and talk Star Wars and play with a lightsaber. But what I was going to say about the Mandalorian, I guess I'll just put this thing back together. There's nothing in it. Dirt. I think it's great. I think it's great, and I think it's fun to watch. I have, there are problems with anything you watch if you don't like. There's always something you're not going to like. I try not to look at that. How's that thing? Just appreciate it for what it is now. I used to just, the prequels really upset me like they did everybody in my generation, I think. They do have lightsabers in them, so you wind up watching them anyway. Then you wind up not hating them exactly. Then you wind up thinking, well, Kenobi's pretty cool. But they're not my Star Wars. They're never going to be my Star Wars. I do understand that they're the Star Wars of another generation in a totally different way. I've had that explained to me, and it makes sense. So I respect that for what it is, I guess. It doesn't have to be my Star Wars. So I just try to not worry about it too much and just enjoy the light show. But The Mandalorian, it's cool in several ways, but I do have problems with it, issues with it. You get to see a guy walk around in Mandalorian armor. That's totally cool, and they do amazing, cool action sequences, and the effects are great, and just beautiful, and you couldn't ask for anything better. And Baby Yoda, as dorky as that is cute. It kind of works most of the time. If you don't ask too much of it. And then Boba Fett. Well, Boba Fett is kind of my favorite, obviously, if you hadn't figured that out. But Boba Fett, the scenes were amazing. I mean, it was just everything you could ask for in a Boba Fett sequence, I would think. Except for the fact that that wasn't my Boba Fett. That was not the Boba Fett of my mythos, if you will. Mythos. That I grew up with. The Boba Fett I grew up with was just this mysterious bounty hunter that did not remove his armor. And it wasn't his armor. He had got it in some nefarious way, which I've not read too much outside. I've read the Bounty Hunter series, I think, and Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina, but I don't know a whole lot. But it's just, my Boba Fett was this mysterious bounty hunter that was just ruthless. Just ruthless. That's why he was so good. But you didn't know much about him. I mean, that was a cool thing. And you knew he was going to get out of that Sarlacc pit, because that's ridiculous. Get a jetpack on, and it's Boba Fett, and he's got armor and whatever. But to see him come back as a clone, and Jango's son and all that was just like, eh. And don't get me wrong, I love Tamir Morrison, is that his name? And everything he's played in. And I loved him as Jango Fett for being that character. And I just kind of view it as my personal Star Wars, and just go from there and don't worry about it. And enjoy it for what it is, because it's cool to see Mandalorians on film, even if they do take off their helmets, which is whatever. And there I have issue with that too. The whole deal of the Mandalorian is, this is the way, was you don't take off your helmet. I mean, and I don't know about the whole controversy. I haven't read too much about the whole controversy with Pedro Pascal. Is that his name? Is that his name? I can't remember. The guy from Game of Thrones, but the Mandalorian. Is it Pedro Pascal? Anyway, we'll figure it out. About him not wanting, he wanted to show his face and whatnot because of money. Who knows? I'm sure it's money. But and then he showed his face in the last episode. So obviously there's spoilers here. I'll put that on earlier. I hope so. Let's see what else. And then of course he wound up showing his face last episode. I haven't seen the current episode if it's out yet, so I think somebody might have seen it. Dropped spoilers on Facebook. I can't remember, like I said. But I had issues with it. I was like Dredd was cool because he didn't take his helmet off. Like, he wasn't supposed to take his helmet off. Boba Fett's not supposed to take his helmet off in my Star Wars. And that Mandalorian was not supposed to take his helmet off in this new Star Wars. It's pretty cool. And of course he finds some convoluted plot twists, sermonic way to take his head off. Take his helmet off. And then he's got this whole question of who's his identity now, I guess. Which I have an issue with the fact that he's not committed to this is the way. And then I also have an issue with the fact that how do I feel about someone's adherence to a strict religious ideology like that? So I'm torn. So I'm just going to enjoy the fact that there's Mandalorians on screen and Star Wars stuff and things that go pew pew and boom, because that's what it's all about. It's having fun, and in the end, that's what I'm doing. So let's see if it still works. Still works. Still sounds like crap. Go back to green. And then I get to rewrap it, which is fun. Maybe orange this time. Or black. I don't know. I feel like that's not tight. But it still works, mostly. Would I buy another one? No. I don't need it. And I'll probably upgrade this one if I get the chance to do it without costing more than a new saber, which might be difficult. But after the second AliExpress LGT, I think I'm done with them. And probably done with buying sabers for just a little while. I gotta get that profit. Anyway. Once again, thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. And if you have any questions or comments, always feel free. And of course, be with you.